I feel good about this one. The fact that Michael Chandler is fighting Paddy Pimblett. All right. Paddy getting the Michael Chandler fight. You remember when you were on the beginning of the year show, Mike? The conversation was it with you? No, it was
No, it
with
wasn't with
Danny.
me.
It was with Danny, but you remember I had said that was the fight I was hoping to see, and I'm so happy that we're about to see it. Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett at UFC 314. Is it 5 rounds?
Yep.
And it's a 5-rounder. All right, Mike. You know what I said back then? I said Paddy was going to finish in the top 5 by the end of this year. So it would only stand to reason that I would hit you with this.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Chandler will prove if Paddy Pimblett is legit or all hype.
Not an overreaction. I think that's a fair way to look at this fight. I mean, Michael Chandler, you can think whatever you want about his UFC career. It is being rocky, but it is being high profile all along the way in terms of the fights and the stages and the opponents and stuff. So, like, this is categorically a major step down for Michael Chandler, given everyone else he has fought inside the octagon so far. And categorically a step up for Paddy Pimblett when you look at it on the other side. So I don't know how you couldn't say this is a very defining matchup for both of these guys at this point. And if Paddy wins, especially if he wins in like a similar way as he did King Green or something, that would be a huge statement for him. But I think what I like so much about that point you brought up at the beginning of the year of Paddy getting to the top 5, this was the matchup that you circled to be like, who's the most winnable fight there for him and who's something that could line up if things don't work out for Chandler with Connor and all these different things. It was right there. So I'm glad they made it. And that's what it will elevate Paddy here if he wins. So yeah, Chandler by far the best guy. He's fought for better or worse. How will Michael Chandler fight in this fight? God only knows, but
Yeah.
this is a good one.
Yeah, dude. I mean, listen, whatever you think, you hit some of the themes that I was going to touch on here, which is whatever you think of Michael Chandler and whether he belongs in the rankings where he's at, because he's what 2 and 4 in the UFC. He's ranked number 7. It's a generous ranking, I think, still for Michael Chandler in those rankings. But regardless of that, he is a ranked fighter. He's just outside the top 5, and the biggest thing is he's got a championship pedigree. He's a multiple-time Bellator champion. So this for Paddy, this is everything for him. Like, if you're going to be UFC champion the way that you've been working up towards for the past, since he made his debut 3 or 4 years, 4 years ago, it's been a while, it's been a slow build. It's been a really slow build. Like, this is the one. You win this one, maybe come the end of the year in December, my top 5 thing can come to fruition, Mike, because there's a fight that could happen later on in the year. My question to you is, what do you think that could be if he's able to beat Michael Chandler? Could it be maybe the Justin Gaethje Dan Hooker winner later this year? Could that be the one?
Yeah, I think that's a great choice, very much in play. I think 2 more fights that could be winnable for him. And those are the guys that feel like kind of the odd men out as we talk about everything we just did with Ilya and Islam and Arman Sarukian and all those things, Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier. That feels like the one that makes sense, unless they give Justin Gaethje to Poirier or Hooker to Poirier for his retirement fight, which feels like it could be in play as well. Definitely. Even the loser of that fight, I think, would be still a step up for Paddy in that regard. So yeah, I don't think the path is unrealistic to him getting there, especially if Islam continues to dominate this division, right? Like, say he does fight Ilya in the summer International Fight Week and then fights Charles or Arman at the end of the year. Like, at that point, and if he's not going to welterweight, we are out of options in terms of lightweight. So I don't think they would hesitate for a second to give Paddy Pimblett that opportunity. This is very much reminiscent of like the Sean O'Malley, Piotr Jan matchmaking. Obviously, Piotr Jan, I consider him in higher regard than Michael Chandler at this point.
Chandler, yeah.
The leap in the rankings, the perception, all that stuff. It's all kind of lining up with that. So yeah, if Paddy wins this, he is in a great placement, and I think he'll continue to be matched up carefully if they have a path to get him there.
And I'm not saying, okay, so let me just throw one more thing at you, Mike. I'm not saying that he would jump the line and cut anybody, but let's just say he beat Michael Chandler in some sort of spectacular fashion, some sort of viral fashion. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's the one win that he would need, a la Sean O'Malley, that they would give him a title shot for his next fight? I'm not saying he would jump the line or jump anybody, but like, do you think that would be enough to capitalize on his stardom right there? Let's not risk him losing to someone else, whoever that may be next. Let's give him the title shot after that. Not jumping the line, just that's his next fight.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, given all these names we just said, a lot of stuff would have to break in his way, people being injured, maybe someone negotiating themselves out of a fight or something, but he would have the resume, he'd have the backing, if, like I said, those 2 fights happen and they're like, hey, we go to London every March and we want you to sit out for 10 months, Paddy, and you'll get a title shot, around then. That's when we'll be ready to do something. Like the timing, it's everything with these fights. So I don't think it is crazy. It feels a little unrealistic just given how good lightweight is. But I don't think it's absolutely out of play.
All right, cool. Well, I'm excited, man. I mean, in a lot of ways, I think I'm more excited about that fight than I am the main event. Come 314. It's good, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to see, and I can't wait for Paddy to prove me right. Can't wait for Paddy to prove me right.
MMA Junkie AI.